I've got a big issue with optimisation culture. Good morning. I'm going to show you what a productive day in my life looks like. I woke up at 5, it's just past that now, and today is going to be probably my busiest day of the week, so I thought I'd take you along and kind of show what it looks like. We've got upper first thing in the morning, got uni from 9 to 4, and then we've got work actually at 6. I want to focus on how I use my time effectively, how I balance all the different things that I want to do with the day, although I will literally be rushing about all day, including now. Before anything though, I need to get some pre-workout carbs in me. So for pre-workout carbs, we've got 5 rice cakes.
8 o'clock in the morning, I'll have fish and a rice cake.
No fish, we've got a banana instead. Here's the finished article. We've got 53 grams of carbs, around 210 calories, I want to say. Perfect little, easily digestible pre-workout meal. God, my posture looks terrible in the mirror. That's concerning. I know people hate Mondays, but I can't lie, I actually love them. Obviously on the weekend, you kind of give yourself a chance to relax and just chill, see your mates and whatever. So Monday, as the first day of the week, kind of represents to me the day where I just get back on the grind. I know it's a hot take, but it could be a top 3 day of the week. I don't know, I'm just putting it out there. Abysmal weather today. Oh, that's just gone everywhere, fantastic. To be fair, the Red Bull plus this rain has woken me up, so I'm pretty gassed for this session. And the upper session is complete. Really good session, although it did take me a lot longer than I wanted it to. I was in there from 6 till 7:20 now, so I was just faffing about, to be honest. So especially with the filming as well, it actually just takes up so much time with all the admin of that. Although it's obviously worth it, but it is such a faff. Shoulders now doing a lot better than it was last week, so that's always a bonus. But still playing it safe, just to not aggravate it too much. Had a cold shower, so I'm now woken up again. Got some creatine in here as well. Just on supplements, you may have noticed that I don't really take them too seriously. I literally just focus on the fundamentals, so that's just making sure that my calories are what I need them to be for my cut, and making sure I get the right amount of carbs, proteins, and healthy fats and stuff like that. I just keep it simple. I think focusing on the fundamentals is the most important thing. If you want to focus on supplements, then absolutely fine. For me, I just need to be healthy and fit. I'm not training to be Erling Haaland or anything like that, so marginal gains from focusing on supplements doesn't really benefit me personally, so I just stick to creatine and electrolytes, which is all I really need personally. As you may have noticed, I've got quite a lot on today, so balance is something that I often think about. You may have a habit such as your work, or for me, my fitness and my health, that right now is heavily dominating your life. How does that really fit into my social life and my relationships? I want to use this clip of Steven Bartlett, which is doing the rounds at the moment, to kind of explain my point a bit.
I had a couple of glasses of wine, didn't get drunk. It ruined 3 days of my life. So it meant that I got worse sleep that night. I ate more poorly the next day because my dopamine system or whatever, the cortisol system was all messed up.
That's resilience, yeah.
And then I podcasted worse. I didn't go to the gym the day after, that day or the day after because of that, because I felt really bad. I then slept worse.
Thank you, Steven. A tough watch as usual. As you heard, he goes on to say that after having 2 or 3 glasses of wine, it ruined his life. He couldn't go gym for 2 days after. He podcasted worse, as if it was the wine's fault the entire time. I mean, how could you possibly podcast worse? But don't get me wrong, alcohol does have a lot of negative effects associated with it. It affects the quality of your sleep, it affects recovery from training and also muscle growth potentially as well. But the issue that I take with Steven Bartlett in this clip is that he frames the issue as if, you either go sober or you ruin your life. And that is just simply ridiculous. I think what Steven is describing here is not necessarily a hangover problem, it's not necessarily even an alcohol problem, but it's actually a discipline problem. Like over this past weekend, I went out on Saturday and I had a few drinks, and somehow, I don't know how I did it, but I managed to run the next day and go gym, and I'm here today also having been gone to the gym. You do not have to give up certain things in life, such as drinking if you don't want to. It's just about doing things in moderation. So balancing your fitness and your health with your social relationships, and also just wanting to do things that you find fun, like going out for a drink or two with your mates or whatever. You don't have to give it all up. It's not a zero-sum game. You've got to just cut out everything. Honestly, all power to you if you do want to go sober. However, don't quit drinking entirely just because you think it will ruin your life. Like going for a few drinks with your mates down the pub will not ruin your life, and it's just a ridiculous claim to make. My overall point is really that you may have something that dominates your life at one given point, whether it be your work, your fitness, or whatever. And for me, it's my fitness. However, that kind of becomes an unhealthy goal when you unduly restrict doing other things which makes you happy and you get enjoyment from, and like your social life, for instance, your relationships. If you just restrict doing that because you're so dialed in on focusing on this one goal. Obviously, if people want to do that, then that's their prerogative. Don't get me wrong. I think just do what you want. But for me, I think there's always a healthy balance to be found. And it's about compromise, it's about moderation, it's about planning and structure. Obviously, those aren't exactly buzzwords you'd associate with having fun. However, for me personally, I really am passionate right now about my health and fitness. And going forward, I want that to be one of the main focuses of my life, really. But then I've got mates, I want to see my mates. I love seeing my mates. It's like it's genuinely my favorite thing to do is seeing my mates and hanging out with them. So again, Steven Bartlett, once more, is just chatting, just absolute nonsense. I used to really like Diary of the CEO. I can't lie, I really did. But these past 2 years, I think, it's just gone down such a weird little rabbit hole. But anyway, I'm gonna get on with making my oats. So as you can see, I've chopped up some 85% dark chocolate really, really finely. I'm just gonna sprinkle that directly onto the oats. You're just gonna see how well this melts into it, and this is what upgrades an ordinary oat bowl from a good one to a great one. So honestly, I highly recommend it. Okay, now that's added, we can add the blueberries finally. 100 G's of blueberries, and then we've got, what was it, 75 G's of raspberries. We've got some cinnamon and honey for tasting, just whack it over there, nothing special. There we go. 10 G's of honey, by the way. I'll show the macros at the end so people know what this comes out to. This is my biggest meal of the day, in terms of calories at least. I can't lie, recording my day in the life has actually made me late for my own day in the life, which is not ideal, however, it's fine. I did want to show you in more detail how I balance my time effectively and my overall schedule for a day. I'll get onto my actual timetable spreadsheet for how I plan my days later on in the video, but for now I need to scran this breakfast dead quick because it's currently 8:30. I was supposed to be leaving in about 10 minutes, which is not ideal. But, hello? No, you're right, just call me being performative. Finish this bowl of food up and then get myself off to uni. Not actually done too badly here. I've got out for 10 to 9, so I'm only about 10 minutes delayed, to be fair, even with all the faffing with recording and everything. The benefit of living in town is that I should get to uni for about 9:10, so yeah, pretty good going. Made it into uni. The plan of action now is to get prep work done for 3 workshops. How I work is that I basically time block my tasks. So say, for instance, workshop 1 that I need to prep for tomorrow, I'll assign 2 hours to do that in. What that means is that in those 2 hours, I'm working with intention and I'm focused entirely on that one thing. So there's 2 benefits to that. Firstly, time efficiency. If I don't assign a time to work on a task, I'll end up just taking the entire day with it. Whereas if I say, this is gonna take me 2-3 hours, I'll then work with intention and get that task done in that given time because I've given myself the parameters to work with. Secondly, I genuinely do think that the quality of work is often better when we work within time constraints. Obviously, this is contingent on you being absolutely focused on that one thing in that time, because obviously if you're distracted the entire time, then the quality of work won't be great. But if you work with intention and focus, you remove all distractions and you completely dedicate yourself to this task for, say, the 2 hours that it's going to take, then the quality of work that you do will be better. So yeah, that's the plan today. I'll let you know if I'm successful successful. Hopefully I am, otherwise that is an absolute headache.
Now I close my eyes now, and I'm dreaming right where
So it's just gone 1:30. It's lunchtime, so I thought I'd give you a status report on how the work's been going so far. Obviously, like I said, I had 3 workshops I wanted to complete by the end of today. Not quite gone according to plan. The first workshop, banged that out in 2 hours as I wanted to, ideal. Second workshop though, a lot more work than I had anticipated. Loads of reading, loads of tasks. So I've got through most of the reading. I've just got the tasks left to do after lunch as well. I suppose this is quite realistic though, because often we allot a certain amount of time to complete a task in. However, sometimes there just is more work that needs to be done than you expected, and then you'll bleed over into taking more time doing it, and that's just how it is sometimes. You've got to crack on. I've revised my expectations for today, which is fine. I've got plenty of time to do it tomorrow as well. I just wanted to really get most of it all done today, really. Got the meal prep here. I'll just give you a quick rundown of what we've got going on. So we've got 125 grams of chicken mince, 200 grams of sweet potato, mushrooms, peppers, red onion, courgette, and also 100 grams of beetroot. Polish that off in absolutely no time. So the plan of action is to now lock in for the next 2 hours, get at least that workshop done, and hopefully move on to the next one. And then we'll be off home. All right, and uni is done for the day. It's just before 4, so I need to get going so I can get back in time to make dinner and also have time to go to work. But really productive day. Got 2 workshops fully done, and then I literally got like everything but about 10 or 15 minutes work done for the final workshop. So basically got 3 done. I'll tell you that. That's pretty good going. Goods have been secured. I actually get so much use out of this hat nowadays because my barn is looking absolutely abysmal. Got a haircut booked in for Friday though, so it's got to last until then, but for the foreseeable this hat is staying on because the wind just had me looking so windswept. Just gave me a quiff, and that's just not what I want. Obviously new video means a new book that I've ordered before finishing my current book. This time we've got Hamlet. The actual film is like unreal. It's probably like the most devastating film I saw all of last year, so I thought I might as well just double down and just really gets out of the book as well. Yesterday, which was Sunday, I was really lethargic. I'm reading like a non-fiction book at the moment called Status Anxiety by Linda Barton, and it's really, really good, but it's very like intellectually demanding, I guess. I was like, I kind of fancy a fiction one right now because I'm not really taking much of this in, but I want to read. So I haven't got any fiction books in my room, which I haven't read already. So I was like, well, time for another one. So I got this one. It's only 20 to 5, and yet we're starting meal prep and dinner prep because obviously we've got work in about an hour and a half. Scratch that, an hour and 20. What am I talking about? Cooking with a white top is always an accident waiting to happen, but I'm going to have to run that risk. In terms of volume, I don't actually know why I do it to myself. I mean, I do because I just want to eat food. I like eating food, but like that is a ridiculous portion. I can already hear the judgment whilst you're watching this video. I mean, it is, and it looks like a bit of an abomination, but I neither have the time nor energy to explain myself here. I mean, it probably tastes all right, but aesthetically wise, it's definitely not my finest work. We've got 200 grams of new potatoes, 1 can of tuna, half an onion, cucumber, peppers, mushrooms. Is that it? Chickpeas, there we are. I don't know if I describe it as a stir fry or a salad. Yeah, it's certainly not my finest, but I've got to scoff this in about 5 minutes before I leave, so let's get to it. We've made it out with plenty of time to spare, but I've just given myself the worst case of indigestion I've ever had. I was literally scoffing that like it was a mukbang. Awful content, I can't lie. So yeah, I did not film any of me eating that, as that was not pretty. On the way to the Etihad right now, which is where the job is. It's only like a temporary job for like a couple of days this week, selling merch for the weekend. He's got like a gig on there, nice little money earner, so that'll be good. But yeah, just like a 1 hour induction today, and then after we're done with that, the world is mine, business is done. Obviously just doing it as a favour to my mate Abel. That's just kind of the friend I am. If you need me, I am there. Oh, in enemy territory right now as a United fan. Gotta figure out where the Aguero statue is. Got a bunker. And that is the shift over. Only half an hour, it's ideal, so we'll take that. Only got one thing on my mind though right now, that is a yolk bowl. Alright, I've cleaned up the bomb site that I left after leaving in a rush, and it's now time for a yolk bowl. Whoa, what a lineup. Got a brew, yolk bowl. But I'm gonna quickly take the time to just go over two things to cap off this video. Firstly, my kind of weekly schedule, and then also my diet. So just quickly, this is my weekly planner on Excel. I am so unbelievably type A. I've got a plan for absolutely everything, including my weekly plan. I'll put it on screen about here just so it's a bit more clearer, as you just can't read that, can you? But effectively, I kind of plan out my week in general terms, according to different times or whatever, what I know what's going on. It's not a rigid structure, it's bound to change. I don't actually use this day to day per se. I usually use this as the basis to then plan my days on my notes app. It's helpful to know exactly what I'm training in a given week, when I need to be doing work. Just then, I don't ever then come into a situation where I've not accounted for something that needs to be done. I've always got the time for it. In terms of my calories for the day, we're sitting at 2,197 out of 2,200 for the day. Those are my cutting calories. Very aggressive deficit, however, it's working pretty nicely so far. I've played an absolute blinder here, I can't lie. I've got 318 grams of carbs for the day, and then 164 grams of protein for the day. I'm not really somebody who focuses on micronutrients too much. I'm just really focusing on the fundamentals, and that is my total calorie expenditure and my macronutrients, so that being carbs, fats and protein. I nearly forgot them. But yeah, that's kind of my philosophy around it. After I came back from work, I just took the time to journal a little bit. I've got a new system and it's absolutely insane, right? So basically, I'll write in here in black ink things that I've taken from other people. So I don't know if you can see that very well. And then I'll then expand it in red ink in my own thoughts. So like I know what's from me and it's original, you know? I was watching the new Luke Hopkins vlog, and he mentioned the point about how he'll choose a run with his friends every time over a run by himself, even if it's inconvenient. And that kind of just sparked a train of thought about optimization culture. I've got a big issue with optimization culture, and that is coming from somebody who's just shown you their spreadsheet on Excel, planning out their entire week. But trust me, two things can be true at once. You can be productive and you can be self-aware. At the end of your life, when you passed away, are your mates gonna remember, oh yeah, you know, his Whoop scores were absolutely off the charts? No, of course they're not. They're gonna remember the times that you spent with them and the memories you made. Now, we spend a lot of time optimizing a lot of the things that we think are the right things, you know, whether it be our work, our fitness, our physical health. I would commend it and I'd encourage it. However, what I guess modern optimization culture to me is doing is taking them to the extreme, so that you just end up turning these what should be healthy habits into unhealthy habits. You're maximizing productivities for productivity's sake. You know, you're filling your day with things that you don't necessarily need to do just because you think you need to fill your day with them, because it's kind of almost virtue signaling that you're productive. Not to get soppy or anything, but why isn't the conversation around, you know, optimizing being a good friend or being a good partner or being a good person generally, you know? Instead, it's focused on optimizing your sleep score, your REM, and there is a place for that, but focusing so religiously on those kind of metrics and kind of judging your life and your self-worth based on these metrics is just so unhealthy, and it just gives you another stick to beat your head with. I like being productive. I do a lot in my day. You've seen in this video that I do quite a lot in my day, and I do genuinely enjoy that. And again, I've got so many goals in life, one of which being my physical journey. I've got so many goals that I want to hit in regards to that, especially over this summer. But I'll never pursue them to the extent where it makes spending time with my family and friends and doing things that I genuinely love to the point where those things become the price of entry. So it's around, actually, what is my point? What is my point? So the point that I'm trying to make, I think, is that don't optimize for optimizing's sake. You can live a fulfilling life that doesn't have to be measured by statistics and numbers and metrics. Focus on experiencing things with people and making memories and Yes, you can have these big and lofty goals, and you should absolutely dedicate yourself to them. And in the cases of a professional athlete, I'm not going to tell Erling Haaland to not dedicate his life to that because he's doing very well at it, But in the case of just me and you, just focus on living your life. You've only got one chance at it, and because we have a finite amount of time, we are condemned to choose how we spend that time. So focus on your goals, but don't let them come at the cost of the things that matter in life, which are doing the things that you love and spending time with the people that you love. There we go. I'm now going to enjoy my yog ball as it's just been staring at me this entire time. I'm going to read a chapter of Hamlet or so before bed just to wind down. And yeah, that's the day done. Just a quick step count check. We hit 15,800 today. Not too shabby, I'll tell you that. It's currently 9 o'clock. Bedtime is around 9:15 to 9:30-ish on a weekday. Literally sound like I'm a child or an elderly person, but here I am. Anyway, it's fun. I enjoy it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Please like and subscribe. It would be appreciated, and I'll see you in the next one.